Nizzy Sports Chat. I am your host, Nizzy, and in this video, you guys, are going to be giving you a game recap of last night's matchup between the Toronto Raptors and Washington Wizards. Raptors were able to hang on just barely at the end of the game last night, you guys, by a final score of 109 to 105, improving to 22 and 21 on their season. Back above 500 basketball again. Hopefully, we can stay up there for a while this time. Dropped the Wizards down to 23 and 23 on their season, you guys. What an outstanding performance from Scottie Barnes, career high 27 points in this one. Just was everything that we needed, you guys, when we were struggling there early on in the game. He was pretty much the sole reason why we were able to keep it close there in that first half when the Wizards were kind of running away with it a little bit on us. Just an outstanding performance all around from him. And then, you had obviously our other guys in that starting lineup pitching in quite nicely. Didn't get a lot of production out of the bench unit, but that's no surprise. We really haven't been playing a bench unit that much lately. So, yeah, you guys, overall, good win for the team. Nice to get back above 500. Right real quick before we start breaking down the rest of this matchup from last night, you guys, if you can go ahead and like this video, if you like sporting content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. I've been getting a ton of support lately, you guys, and I greatly appreciate it. We're going to keep coming out with as much content as possible for you guys. But without further ado, man, let's go ahead and start breaking down some of the team stats from last night's matchup. We'll start off with the Toronto Raptors here. Ended up shooting 46% from the field as a team last night, 42 of 90. A little bit lower than the Wizards. The Wizards had a nice shooting night, shot 50% from the field, 43 of 85. They took 5 less shots than us, made one more shot total though. 36% three-point range from the Raptors, 11 out of 30. As a squad, 33% from the Wizards, so they shot a little bit lower in the three-point range from us, 11 out of 33. So we both made the same amount. They just took 3 more shots than we did in the three-point range. And then over in the free throws, we bested them in that department as well. We had 17 total free throws, making 14 of them for 82% clip. They shot an 80% clip. They only got to the line 10 times, though. So that's a nice job by the Toronto Raptors, not fouling a bunch, not sending them to the free throw line too much, especially with guys like Bradley Beal, who are pretty good at getting to the free throw line. We did a nice job of not allowing a lot of their guys to the line in last night's game, which is good to see. The rebounding department as well, they out-rebounded us by 5 boards, 45 to 40. The offensive glass was all tied up at 11 apiece in this one, you guys. So we're keeping it pretty even on the glass in this game. We did a great job in the turnover battle. Ended up turning over the Wizards 17 times. We only turned the ball over 8 times ourselves, so that's a great job. And that led to 27 points off of those turnovers for the Raptors. They only got 12 points off of their turnovers. So that was a huge stat line in the game, probably one of the reasons the Raptors were able to pull away with the victory in the end there. So it's a good job by the boys not turning it over and respectively getting a lot of steals in this game, forcing them into some turnovers. They had a lot of over and backs in this game as well, which is, you got to commend the Raptors defense on that aspect as well. I think they had 3 over and backs the Wizards did in the first half, which is just unheard of. Normally you only see, if you're lucky, you'll see 1 or 2 over and backs in a game, and it's not even something that happens every single game. It's kind of a rare stat. So the fact that the Raptors were able to pressure them into those over and backs in the half court set 3 times in the first half is very impressive on that Raptors defense, which is huge to see. This was just a crazy game as well, you guys, with the lead changes. The Wizards, like I said, were up by 13 at one point. I believe it was in the second quarter. And then the Raptors were just kind of hanging on there. I think we went into halftime with a 1-point lead. I think it was 55-54 at the halftime. And then the Raptors just started dominating in that third quarter, ended up getting up to an 18-point lead. And then we just went stagnant and cold in that fourth quarter again, man, which doesn't surprise me too much. Like I said, we're just overplaying our starters. Once again, we had most of our starters playing 40 plus minutes last night. Really didn't get a lot of production out of the bench unit. Really didn't have a lot of bench players play that much. We had, Boucher played 22 minutes. I think Achua had 17 or 16 minutes out on the floor. After that, we had Champagnie and Yuta Watanabe. I think they only played like 5 minutes and 2 minutes respectively, so they really didn't even make an impact on the game, really didn't get out there long enough to make an impact on the game. So you could see the legs just kind of fall out from underneath us there in that fourth quarter. I think we had a 5 or 6 minute stretch at the end of the fourth there where we didn't make a basket that allowed them to bring the game to 102-102. And thank God we called that timeout. We're able to make a few clutch buckets at the end of the game there. Big time bucket from Freddie V. I think he hit that 3-point shot. Then we hit a couple other shots there as well just to seal the deal at the end of the game. But like I said, man, I don't think this would have been that close of a matchup later on in that game if our guys weren't so gassed. Once again, we ran basically a 7-man bench rotation. It's tough, man. It's tough in those situations, especially when you're playing like the Wizards. Even though they're at 500 ball right now, they're still a pretty good, scrappy team. I think they're going to be a playoff team this year, whether they get in through the play-in tournament or make it into the top six. I definitely think these guys are going to be in the mix of it at the end of the season. This had all the feels of a playoff matchup last night. You guys, both teams are scrapping and clawing. Like I said, the big lead changes as well throughout the game. So overall, it's just a good match. I'm glad the Raptors were able to hang on for the victory there. But we gotta figure out something with this bench unit, man. Whether it's giving guys an extra opportunity out there, or we got to make some sort of trade at the trade deadline. Something's got to happen. Something's got to give, man, because this is not a sustainable look in the long term here for this Toronto Raptors squad. If we continue to play our starters 40 plus minutes on a night in, night out basis, these guys are going to be so freaking exhausted by the end of the season. We're going to just be one and done in the playoffs, no doubt about it, if we have these guys just playing so many minutes like this. We're going to have to do something here, like I said, at the trade deadline to address these issues. Guys like Svi can go. I'm not even sure if Boucher's safe right now. Malachi Flynn's probably on the docket to be traded. I'd say pretty much the only guy out of that bench unit that will probably not be going anywhere is Delano Banton, and that's because he's a rookie, and the potential for him to be a big-time player in the future is there. I feel like he hasn't been playing a lot because I think he's been down with the G League team, getting some minutes down there. So I think they're just not playing him as much with the big unit, up with the big squad, if they don't have to. But it's tough to say, man. It's tough to say what the Raptors are going to do here. Obviously, not having Dragic for most of the season's hurt us a little bit, even though a lot of us Raptors fans don't like the guy that much. He is a veteran presence out on the floor. He probably would be a decent seventh man coming off the bench, point guard that can kind of run the offense on the bench unit there. We haven't had him at all this season. So it's going to be interesting when this trade deadline comes up to see what the Raptors decide to do. But we got to get somebody in here for sure, man. I think we need to desperately get a backup point guard that can allow Fred VanVleet to get some rest time. Because like I said, he's just getting completely burnt out. And you can tell he's getting burnt out because of his shooting woes in the last few games here. I mean, his shooting stroke's been atrocious. But like I said, I think the dude is just so overtired right now that he just doesn't have enough legs underneath his shots to be able to get those accurate shots from deep like he usually does. So yeah, you guys, I definitely think we need to make some sort of adjustments here going forward. Nice to get the win last night. We'll go through some of the player stats as well before we wrap up the video, you guys. Starting off with the Washington Wizards. Gafford's had a pretty quiet night for them. 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 steal. One steal in the game. Advija had 9 points, 5 boards, and 6 assists in the game. Dinwiddie had a pretty nice performance. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal. He was pretty clutch for them throughout the game, making some big baskets to keep him in it there. And he's kind of had an up and down season so far, obviously coming off of that. I think he had an ACL injury last year where he missed all of the season with the Nets. Obviously, he's a free agent going into this offseason, signs with the Wizards. And he's been a shell of himself, to be honest. Dinwiddie was looking way better before his injury. Obviously, it's the first year back for him off the injury. I would expect this guy to start getting better here down the stretch and out of these, getting more comfortable and getting more into a flow out on the floor there. And usually that first year back off a major injury like that, you're always never going to be fully 100% yourself. So, like I said, closer to the end of the season and going into next year, I'd expect Dinwiddie to have a big-time step up in his game as he gets more comfortable coming off of that injury that had him sit out for a year. So, and then you had Beal, you guys. He had a great game. Brad Beal with 25 points, 5 boards, and 8 assists in this one. Caldwell Pope pitched in with 10 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal. Harrell off the bench had 10 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. He's just an energizer bunny out on that floor, man. I don't know if he's going to be available in the trade market here coming up on the deadline. I know he hasn't been a huge piece for the Wizards. He's kind of been benched a little bit lately. I think this was his first action in a couple games. He's kind of been riding the back end of the rotation for those guys. I think he'd be a phenomenal pickup for the Raptors as a 6th man coming off that bench, just bringing that nasty grit and determination. And he's really good offensively as well, and he brings that tenacious defense to you. I think he'd be a great pickup if somehow we could swing a trade for that guy at the trade deadline. Would love to have him on the squad. And then Hachimura was the last guy for their team there with 11 points and 8 rebounds. He had a nice performance as well for them. And then over to the Raptors, you guys. Like I said, it was our starting unit once again that led us to victory in this one. They're going to have to lead us to victory pretty much every game going forward here because our bench is pretty much non-existent. We're not really playing any bench players either, so guys ain't getting on the floor. It's impossible for them to make an impact on the game. So Siakam, you guys, 21 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal on the night. Shot 8 of 17 from the field. It's a little bit below 500. but not too shabby. Gary Trent Jr. in his 29 minutes had 13 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. Shot 4-12 from the field. Not too concerning. Like I said, he's missed, I think, the last 6 games before last night's matchup there. So not a huge deal that he shot a little bit lower clip from the field. But just nice to have him back out there as another scoring threat. Put a little added pressure on the defenses that we're playing against. Just with having another shooter out there on the floor that can get a bucket from pretty much anywhere at any time throughout the game. So nice to have him back on the floor. Fred VanVleet, another steady performance. A little bit rough shooting night once again. Shot 6 of 17 from the field, but still finished off with 21 points, 1 rebound, 12 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. So even though his shooting woes are there, the dude's just getting it done in every other area on the floor. The assist totals have been up there. I think this is the 2nd game in a row now. He's in double-digit assist totals. And then the 2 steals and 2 blocks is huge for the defensive end. So just solid performance from Fred VanVleet. The dude's never going to complain about playing this many minutes, but I definitely think it's affecting his shot quality right now. I just don't think his legs, I don't think he's got enough juice in his legs to be able to make those shots consistently throughout the game right now, because he's just been played so much throughout this season. And then same with OG, you guys, 41-minute night last night. A little bit quiet offensively for OG, but he was an absolute stud on the defensive end for us. Finishing off the night with 12 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals, and 1 block. Shot 6 of 13 from the field, so just below 50% mark. But like I said, just outstanding defensive capabilities from OG. One of the biggest reasons we were able to hold on for the victory there, just because of his defensive prowess out on the court. Was just outstanding in last night's game defensively for us, and we needed every minute of him out on the floor there. He did a great job for us in that one. Scottie Barnes, you guys, career night for him, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Just got super hot there in that second quarter. Like I said, he was the biggest reason we were able to hang around in that game and grab that lead in the second quarter. Just an outstanding performance there offensively for him. 12 of 19 from the field as well, so super efficient night. Seems like anything and everything was going down for this guy. I thought he was going to get the 30-point game, to be honest with you. It was so close there. It seems like they kind of went away from Scottie later on in the game in that fourth quarter. Would have liked to see him kind of feed him down in the post a little bit more in that fourth. I thought he was really dominating inside the paint there during that game. I thought we should have kept feeding him the rock. I think he could have finished with 35 or 40 points if we kept feeding him down in the post. But nonetheless, great performance from the guy anyways with his career high 27, you guys. Then off the bench, like I said, we didn't get a lot of bench performances. Boucher played 22 minutes, had 10 points, 7 boards, and 1 steal. And then Achua had 5 points and 5 rebounds for you. Then, like I said, Watanabe and Champagny played, but I think they played respectively 7 minutes combined for like 2 rebounds. So nothing major from those guys in the minute department. But nonetheless, good win for the boys. Needed the victory in this one, especially against a team that's a little bit less superior than us, I would say. I would say we're the better squad here than the Wizards. They've kind of been in shambles, like I said, since the beginning of the season when they had that hot start. And the Raptors got to keep building here, man. We got Portland on Sunday. This should be a good opportunity for us to continue on and try and get 2 games above 500 here. Obviously, Dame Lillard's out, I believe, for the season now with that core abdominal injury. I think he's taking the rest of the season off here. Norm Powell hasn't been playing lately for the Trailblazers either. So this is a huge opportunity for the Raptors to get another one here on Sunday. Got to take advantage of the moment, man. Keep pushing forward. Try and get a few games above 500 here and solidify a spot in that playoff. In the Eastern Conference, you guys, so fingers crossed. Hopefully the Raptors can get it done. Good game last night, 109-105 the final. Good to be back above 500 basketball. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that bench unit, man. We'll have to see what the Raptors do coming up on the trade deadline here. I'll probably end up doing a video kind of talking about some of the trade deadline targets for the Toronto Raptors and, who's kind of expendable on the Toronto Raptors squad right now. We'll probably have that video coming out in the next week or so. But without further ado, you guys, that pretty well wraps her up for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Please go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and this is Izzy with Izzy Sports Stats.